Let's kick off this hour with the very latest on the search for Jay Slater. Very nearly a fortnight since he went missing under
and we still seem to know more. Absolutely. Joining us now from Marbella is journalist Gerard Cousins. A very good morning to you, Gerard. You can barely realise or understand that it's 2 weeks and we don't seem to be any nearer a solution to this terrible crisis, but also we don't seem to have any more clues, do we?
No, 2 weeks tomorrow, as you say, since he was reported missing. Been 2 weeks of searching in the mountains, 2 weeks of a parallel investigation which is going on behind the scenes, that the police are obviously keeping very much to themselves. And you're right, no sign, nothing, no clues, anything to help us further forward in this mystery.
What's this parallel investigation you mentioned?
Well, the police have been very specific from the beginning. We've got the visible search going on in the mountains. There was obviously this large-scale search operation yesterday. Besides that, you've got police investigators who are looking at all possibilities, including the possibility that someone's keeping him, against his will. That part of the investigation the police are conducting is not being shared with the press and the public.
Yes, we get the feeling there's quite a lot of information that isn't being shared with the press or the public, maybe quite rightly, I don't know. I mean, for instance, the mystery about these 2 British men that Jay was meant to have been with at some point before he went missing. We don't know whether they're back in Britain. We don't know who they are. But now we gather the police do and have already interviewed them.
Yeah, surprisingly, the police, surprisingly I say, because I know how the police work over here, they were quite clear about that yesterday. Although the person who spoke to the press yesterday in Tenerife is the head of the mountain rescue team. He said, look, investigators have spoken to these men and essentially said they've ruled them out of the inquiry. The investigators do not believe they're in any way connected to the disappearance of Jay. I was surprised to hear him speaking so openly about what is normally a part of the investigation that is kept very secret by police investigators. But that's what he said. He was very clear.
Well, look, understanding as you do how things work out there, should we have confidence in how the police are operating?
Well, interesting. I spoke to the president of a very influential Spanish missing persons organisation on Friday, a chap called Joaquin Amils. His own son disappeared 17 years ago, and his body has never been found. He said, look, the parents should have full confidence in the Civil Guard. He described them as being one of the best police forces in Europe. And he said, silence is good. Silence means that the police are working very hard behind the scenes. They need to have patience, but he gave the Civil Guard his backing. He said, look, the parents need to have no fear that this case is in the best hands. So I pass on that information from someone who has a much better understanding of a lot of the general public about how things working.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very generous sentiment from somebody whose own son went missing and has never been found. I mean, what was the explanation for that?
Well, as you say, yeah, his own son went missing. It's also an association that works frequently and is helping assessing families of people who have disappeared. He obviously says it for a reason, as I say. I think this is the difficulty for maybe a British family who've come across whose son has disappeared. It's being dealt with by a police force that works in a very different way to a UK police force that does not put a family liaison officer alongside the families, that is not keeping them abreast of that part of the investigation that is being conducted behind closed doors. I think we have to have faith that we're not talking about a banana republic. We're talking about Spain is a leading member of the European Union. We have to have faith that things are being done correctly and in the best way possible. Let's see if in the future they do accept the British offer of the British police offer of help that was given and was was turned down. Let's see if they accept that in the future. Let's see if they make an appeal further down the line. But I don't think any public appeals will be made by the police at this stage.
OK. Jared Cousins, good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
I hadn't realised there wasn't even something akin to a family liaison officer, because if the family are not being informed as to what's going on, that I can't see how. And not to dismiss what the Spanish police are doing, but the family should be kept informed. Otherwise, they're just left hanging
in limbo.
aren't they?
Yeah. I can't help wondering what you're meant to think. The fact that the police are still searching. If they had come to the assumption that he must be dead, and it's just that they haven't found his body yet, sooner or later, wouldn't they give up searching?
Well, yes.
They're still searching. That they're spending money on searching.
But I wonder if that
which
is
suggests that they know something we don't, that there is a possibility that he's still alive there somewhere.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think they're probably just looking for a body now, just to bring some closure to it. Which is an awful thing to say, isn't it? But I think that's probably the reality.